gas tax, if I say it's half a cent or something. It doesn't have to be just one area. It can be a portion of several.
What we're doing tonight, priorities, potential new sources, and allocations, and what that means. So the first piece has been discussion about priorities. We started from a global list of 12 different types of projects, all the way from intersections to traffic signal systems, to surfacing, to new bus routes, to new types of transit, new modes of transit, whether it be rail or buses. Ferry even is on that list. All of those
you got a ferry taking people to Cuba.
Yeah, all of those things that are on the list, and ask people for what their priorities were, what they said. What they said was important to them. Again, what we saw was a common theme coming out of it, that there were really 4 different levels or 4 different categories of transportation that were important. We had roads, maintenance.
Maintenance on what? The roads or the bus?
On the roads.
Roads and bridges.
Roads and bridges.
Roads and bridges.
Transit. And then bicycle. And we'll put sidewalk. Pedestrian feet. It's what people consistently said were important categories of projects. What was important to them. Right, and what did I do? I saw some
Transit.
Yeah, we might want to actually have spelled right. Writing it fast. Yes, roads. Good question. So roads include things like widening, new intersections, and what we call ATMS, which is Advanced Traffic Management Systems, basically synchronizing the signal systems along a corridor so that the traffic signals are synchronized. And then a couple others, but that's primarily, to your point, transit is new, routes and modes, increased service, increased frequency, so instead of every hour or half hour, it's 10 or 15 minutes. It's frequency. And
I think maintenance, a lot of people believe that you should take care of what you already have before you start something new. So I think it's just a basic adult principle that everyone's voting for maintenance because it's already there. Let's take care of what we have. As far as the central region you're talking about with transit, a lot of folks are looking for that. There seems to be clusters of population, and they might live in one area and they generally work in another, so the transit would be an option. What I want to avoid is, I heard somewhere that people are looking at the use of the bus system for an indicator of the demand of transit, and I think that there's a fallacy in that logic, because if you think I'm going to give up the comfort, privacy, and luxury of my own vehicle to sit on a public bus in the same congestion, you're out of your mind. So I think there's a silent majority, I'm seeing some nods over here, there's a silent majority of people that they're ready for transit. You know, if you build it, they will come. They're ready to go. They're not using the bus system because I would rather sit in my own car with the temperature at the degree I want, listen to my music, and be stuck on 275 or wherever it is, than take the bus. I need an option that negates those roads and circumvents the congestion. Now, what are we talking about? Possibly a light rail system, and I know no one wants to hear those words, but that's going to get cars off the road, and I'm going to take that public transportation because I'm not going to sit in the same congestion. I'm looking for a different method of transport that'll get me to my same destination, and once I get there, with the downtown, you can walk to a lot of these places, so I'm not as concerned about not having a vehicle to get me around. I really just want to get past that congestion of 45 minutes to go 10 miles.
Right now, it takes me 12 miles. It's 12 miles for me to get to work, and it takes me an hour plus each way. So it's the same thing with a bus. I would be sitting in the same traffic and catching the same lights. I go through over 30 intersections. So realistically, it's a nightmare for me. But if there was public transportation, like a light rail or something like that, that would avoid the same traffic jams that I'm sitting in, whether I'm in my own vehicle or a public vehicle, I mean, that would make, like right now, my husband and I are trying to think about selling our house and moving to get closer to our job because we don't want to spend 2 hours every day.
Now, what about an enhanced bus? Now, what I say by enhanced bus is a form of what we call bus rapid transit, where you're still using the same lanes, but you can get in and out of the queue to pick people up. You can have what we call signal prioritization, not preemption, prioritization, where it keeps the signal longer so that bus can get through. And its heart currently has what they call Metro Rapid, which is a form of that. It could be enhanced. This is the only reason I raised this. What we're both talking about is dedicated right away. Is that feasible or not? I mean, I'm not saying, I'm asking.
Well, I think that's what you're talking about with the bus rapid transit. If you can demonstrate that I will get there faster and, noticeably faster, then I'll buy in and take the public transportation in lieu of my own private vehicle. But if I'm not getting some sort of return for the sacrifice of keeping my car at home and taking the public transportation, then I'm not going to buy into it, and I'm going to keep doing what I'm doing now, which is driving my own vehicle.
So transit has to be time competitive.
Yes.
So our transit has to be time competitive.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah, the time is making another time.
It seems like even with signal prioritization, if I'm in my car and the bus has some device that will trip people like scream longer, if I'm in my car, I'm going to follow the bus.
Right, it's like in football when they get the blocker and you run right behind them.
Actually, that is exactly what happened.
I mean, right now it feels like, I'm sorry to say, when you get stuck behind a bus, the bus now blocks the lane of traffic. So if you're on a 3-lane road, you've now lost the whole lane of traffic moving down the road. The bus is stopped.
And then when
you're
the
right.
bus
Now,
stops,
now, Rich, I'm sorry.
in a wheelchair.
But yeah, if you want to get off a bus, when you need to go somewhere, you just need to get off that bus, wait for the next one. Not wait 45, 30 minutes for it. Then what's the purpose of it?
So the connection between
Connections
services,
has to be right there.
we call the last mile. You've got to get to where you want to go.
Right, because you need to go somewhere.
I think with the buy-in, like you were talking about, there's an incredible amount of people who live here who are from cities originally that have public transportation. I mean, I'm from New York. Most of my friends here are from New York or Chicago or DC, and we're used to public transportation. And so having a viable option is something that everybody, I think, would like. People that I know would like. But again, it's the same idea. A bus isn't going to get me anywhere any faster, and if I then have to walk a half a mile after that, then it's not worth it for me.
These are people who don't
Sometimes it's raining.
mass transit, but they're choosing to use mass transit.
So you want to have choices.
Well, what I want to demonstrate to you that the decision maker, or the person who's facilitating this program, is I'm not using the mass transit because I have no other way to get from point A to point B. I'm using it because it's faster. And if it's not faster, then I'll keep using my vehicle. So if you want more people to buy in, it's not the people that need to use it. You want to get the people that choose to use it. I think that's a fine point.
Jay, what do you think?
Oh, I lead light rail right today. They're 20 years behind time. Here we build train system. You see the train that turned over in Philly. You got Germany, got trains in the sky, don't block them. While we dragging our feet, we too busy fighting Iraq. That's what we're doing, spending money in Iraq, Afghanistan, Pakistan.
I don't think we're spending any local county money in Iraq or
Well,
Afghanistan.
the government,
I don't think
everybody
Commissioner
gets taxed.
Agar-
Everybody gets taxed.
Barbara?
Part of the problem I have with light rail system is that it's a fixed rail. This county is very diverse, so we have different needs in different parts.
Pointed out, right?
Yeah. And how do we pay? We can't even pay to maintain our rail. I don't know where we're going to get the money to get a light rail system. And even with the 1 cent sales tax or raising property taxes, I don't think we can get light rail and maintenance that is my problem with light rail. I think it's a goal to achieve, but I think we have to try the rapid transit and just see if we can get buy-in to your point that it makes sense to get on it, that it's a faster.
So Angela's question is this allocation based on no additional revenue or additional? It's going to have to be based on additional because at this point we're spending what we have. So that's part of your consideration. If there's new revenue, and we're going to talk about the revenue options that people reacted to next, if there's additional revenue, and you're going to talk about what you think about that. The question is, how would you allocate that money? What do you think that the priorities from that last round is reasonable, or you would change it? And we want each of you to have the opportunity to say what you think, and then we'll kind of see if we can reach some consensus between the group.
For that community.
It would be customized based to what your specific needs would be, but giving you ultimately a package for the community, a package of choices.
You're not saying to me, because maybe, like you said, Sun City wants culverts, that I'm not going to get, I don't need culverts, so you're not going to give them to me.
Oh, well, now culverts are in the stormwater.
Yeah, but some culverts get, some culverts get exactly, you're just talking about what you do.
If you want.
I think a consensus would be amongst us that a good bus system needs to be implemented.
Tom, I think we're waiting for you on a sales tax. Yes or no?
Somebody didn't.
Yes.
Yes, on the
I'll
sales
stamp.
tax, okay. And
So John is the other one to say no.
No.
You're
Now,
no.
like,
Say no
hold
on
on.
all of them.
That was what I was going to say. Is if you said no on all of them, what's the least burdensome for you, or what's your favorite?
If you had to say yes to one of these, if we twisted your arm, which yes would you say?
Find the money someplace else.
Well,
these are the options.
Tourist tax and hotels, or what?
Find money.
Where else can you get it from? These are the options. I think this is about the most sensible option.
What's the reason you wouldn't want sales tax?
The sales tax is probably because we're paying 7% now.
Okay.
Now we buy another penny. Now it's 8%, 8 cents.
But there are other states that are paying more than 7% and they have better.
Where does it stop?
It's not ever going to stop, sir. It's not ever going to stop.
But
we've got to. You can't think
have to
about
start.
today. You've got to think about 20 years from now. You've got to think about what kind of roads and stuff your kids are going to be driving on, your grandchildren. How are they going to get from college to downtown Tampa? How are they? Are they going to stay in? They're going to leave Tampa because we don't have a good system. We've got to begin somewhere.
I think it's the start of what they're trying to
spend money on. For example, gas tax, the gas tax that we don't currently leverage that we're talking about here, it has limitations. It can only be used for certain things. And that's based on state statute.
Unless we got an additional tax. I mean, this is based on how our taxes are right now.
No, this is, well, if you go back over to this side, we'll talk about gas tax for a second.
All right.
Right now, the state would allow us to collect another 5 cents per gallon in gas tax. That's set by the state statute. We don't collect that today. There are other gas taxes we do collect, but there's 5 additional cents that could be collected. If you go back to this, these are the things that you're allowed to use those gas taxes for, and that's set by the state.
And that makes sense.
And that makes sense, right, absolutely. Property tax, it's pretty much you can use it for any of these, okay? It's a little bit
more flexible, I guess you could say.
But on the property tax, we don't have a dedicated millage.
We don't today. We do not today. And we'll talk about that in just a